Hi guys, this is Erin the Flower Stylist, or Erin from J&M. And today we're doing a new video. We're going to do something with these roses that I got that are super gorgeous in this really cool container that I have at my house. Sorry we kind of missed a couple weeks in between there. We actually just got a puppy, so there's a very strong possibility you're going to hear her during this video. She's pretty vocal and she's adorable. She's a little Pomsky, and maybe I'll do a little video of her at the end just so you guys can see her. So first things first with this container, this is a basic ceramic container. As you can see, it is water safe, even though I got a little bit of water on right here, but there's no holes in the bottom of it. I really like it. It's a pretty neutral gray color. Again, it goes with my house. It goes with my whole vibe with everything that we're doing here. What I done instead of taping like we did last time is I did get my hands on a piece of Oasis, which I'm so grateful for. So Oasis, if people aren't familiar with it, it kind of acts like a sponge for the water. It holds up all the water inside of it and, kind of slowly gives the water back to the flowers and stuff like that. It's also really good if you're just starting out to use Oasis, I feel, because it kind of is a bit more forgiving, because you can kind of, you don't have to have the cuts of the stems down perfectly. And I'll show you more about that with the roses that I'm working with and stuff. So what you do with Oasis, just so you guys are aware, you can take, this is the brick. This is pretty much what the whole brick looks like. It's a standard size brick. So what you do is you drop it into a bucket of water and slowly let it go down. If you press down on it, you tend to get these air pockets built up inside of it, which can be really bad and lead your flowers to dying faster because they're not getting water. One thing about Oasis too is once it is soaked, you need to make sure it remains wet at all times, or else once it dries out, you can't reintroduce water to it. I'm sure there's some scientific reason for it. I am not aware of that, so don't ask me to explain it. So today I have more roses for you guys. I promise, I swear I tried to get different roses, something different. It's just so hard right now with the quarantine and there's just such limited supplies coming in at this point. So roses really are our one ticket. And I even tried to get them in pink instead of like an orangey color. And of course these came in and they were totally not what the picture was. They were in this picture like this really pretty like peachy pink color, and these are definitely more of like a corally sunset tone. They're beautiful, and I think they're going to be really cool, and I wanted to kind of introduce you more about that. So these roses are called Kahlua roses, and the original reason why I chose these is because I can tell from the way that these centers are, if you can see right there, see how that's like kind of a softer center to it? When these open up, they're going to open up more like a garden rose than a traditional rose. The key with a traditional rose is it tends to open up with like a point in the center, and then it opens up like out from there. So it kind of goes like that. That's like a classic rose that you've seen, I'm sure, everywhere. The other roses tend to open up more like they just kind of poof, and then they kind of go down. They're kind of just like a bud, and they poof up a little bit. With this one, what you're going to see, I'm going to force this quite a bit for you guys to see, so there's probably will lead to bruising. I don't recommend doing this. I recommend letting you guys let your flowers open up naturally, but here we go. So you see that center? That's what we're looking for with like this gardeny rose feel. But what's great about these ones, instead of being an actual garden rose, which can run you up to like $9 a stem, these will only run you $3 a stem at J&M. And I just love this color. I really do like it. It was not what I was expecting, but I think it is a beautiful color. So enough about that. Then the other thing I'm introducing into this is greenery. I was able to get some greens from J&M as well. So the greenery I have in front of me as I'm making a mess. Here's some, wow, this is a lot of mess. Sorry guys. Here's some lemon leaf. As you can tell, the leaves are shaped like lemons, hence the name. And then we have this, which is called Pittosporum, which is kind of an ugly name, but I like this greenery because it has these little bits of it, like kind of like these little bushier offshoots. And I tend to like kind of mixing my greens if I'm going to use greenery. And this one comes, just so you guys know as well, in a variegated variety. So it comes with like a limey outside and like a dark center too. I don't love that variety. For some reason, like years ago, like I want to say like 6 years ago, it was the only thing I used. Like I was like, variegated pit is the answer. And then all of a sudden, like we switched over to regular pit, and I'm like, I hate it now. So I'm sure I'll go back and forth, but just as an idea and stuff like that. So the first thing we're gonna do is, you guys can see this, right? Hold on, let me move my mess that I made out of the way a little bit. Perfect. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is do a light greening. What I want to do with this is kind of make it a bit more organic feeling, a little bit more loose, and a little bit more, what we're going to do is really elongate it. You're going to see how much we can take with flowers outside of the container, especially with Oasis being our anchor instead. So what I'm going to start out with first is my larger leaf material, and if you get anything like this, obviously that just got bit by bugs, like somewhere, wherever it was grown. Most of it's grown in like Florida and South America at this point. And what I'm going to do is just kind of break it up into these smaller pieces. Now again, what's nice about this is I don't have to worry, like with this piece for example, I can take something like this and still make sure it's going to be in the water. If this was just loose in the container, I'm going to just show you on the side, of course it's going to sit there. But if I just did it like that, it really wouldn't hold into the container because you'd need more of a locking mechanism. So the Oasis is kind of like a cheap way of doing it. So what I'm going to do here is kind of just start creating this very loose feeling. And again, just going through, if you find things with undesirable looks, you can always just cut it back, kind of like that. For the inside, I want to keep them a little bit tighter. I don't want it to be like a giant bush that you can kind of only have the flowers out to here. I still want it to feel like a centerpiece. One of the things that I really enjoy about lemon leaf, I think, is it's a pretty normal price point green. They come in different bunches. There's a couple called, like, you can get it ordered as a full branch, which I'm assuming this was a full branch. Yeah. So if it's just like this, it's a full bundle and a full branch. When they kind of pre-clip it for you into these littler pieces, they're called the tips. So you can also order it as a tip or a bigger bundle and stuff like that. I tend to find that for me, I like using the whole bunch because I think that you get like a lot of really cool pieces that you kind of lose with the just getting the tips and stuff like that. So I tend to like breaking it down on my own and stuff like that. I think this is also a really nice greenery. This tends to be a greenery that caterers actually use a lot to like decorate plates and stuff like that. Just to kind of cover that, the plating for like dishes and stuff like that they have out. And again, I think I'm just about done with my lemon leaf with what I'm going to do with it. So as you can see, I kind of have done a little bit. It's easier for me to pick this up because of the Oasis and stuff. I've kind of created this like looser feeling piece. I'm just going to kind of push my garbage stuff to the side just so you guys don't get confused with it. Obviously these greeneries are not garbage, but I'm just trying to keep myself organized. So the lemon leaf is going over there now. Now for a little bit of the pittosporum. So what I'm going to do with the pit is instead of using just this piece on its own and kind of having like this weird bushy effect up at the top, I'm going to break this up. And now I have, instead of one piece, I have 5 pieces right here. So I'm going to kind of use this again closer to the base of the Oasis. What I kind of want to do here right now with the greenery is, again, I don't want it to be too tight, but I don't want to have to worry later on about covering my green Oasis with my flowers on top of that, because you want it to kind of feel, you don't want to see the mechanics that's kind of holding it together. It's almost like peeking behind the magic trick and stuff. Okay. So I'm pretty good on that. I might add more greenery later, I'm not sure. So again, last week I showed you guys how I liked to take apart my roses and stuff like that. I have the fortune of having picked these up from J&M this week, so they were already done for me, which was really wonderful, and I didn't have to do them myself this time. So what I'm going to do is I have here about 50 roses. I think I lost, this one I lost too. Sometimes this happens where they just kind of like die on you. It can be a water issue, but these have been in water for the past couple days, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping that it's not the variety, because I would really hate to not be able to use this stuff, use this varietal moving forward. But anyway, so out of the 50 stems that I have here, I think I have about 46 left. So we're gonna start with that. We'll probably have some extras. I might throw those in some bud vases, but again, last time I did this, I overestimated how much I was going to be able to create with it, so we'll just see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start going out like this. And again, with these, I'm also not gonna peel back the roses the same way I did last time. The look is a bit more natural, so I don't mind a little bit of those petals. If something's like this one, see how it's kind of very damaged? I am gonna pull that one back, but not out of a habit of trying to get it to look a certain way. Also, I did fluff up this one. I'm not gonna manually fluff up these. I'm gonna wait for them to open up on their own within the piece. So what I like to do when I'm doing more of a natural thing, and I kind of always think of, so in 2008, I want to say, 2009, I went to London and I did a program there at the Judith Blacklock School. And at the time, it was like super big here to do everything really, really, really tight. And then in Europe, they have a very different style where they tend to like a bit more of like this looser, more organic feeling and stuff like that. So I was kind of like the black sheep of the program. She kind of always said to me, like, can you just not, like, she was this older woman, she was just like, can you just not like make it so tight? Can you just do a little looser? It was really funny. But so that was something that I kind of, now I think about it all the time whenever I'm doing a piece. Can you just make it a little looser, a little looser? But anyway, so what I'm kind of doing here, just so you guys can kind of see, is I'm building up my one side first, and then I'm going to balance it on this side. What I want to do with this is create depth. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving some a little bit longer, some a little shorter, some kind of paired together. The way I kind of think about it is in terms of layering. Like you have the one thing here, then you have the second layer, and then the third layer. And then we're going to kind of rotate the layer a little bit to kind of create the internal part as well. But again, I'm just going to repeat this on this side as well. Another fascinating thing that I learned at this program I went to in London, I went right before, like right at the end of January I went. So they still had like all their Christmas decorations up. I guess like all the hotels that we went to and stuff like that. Orange, big color in England for Christmas. I thought it was kind of weird, but seeing it in their spaces and stuff, it kind of works. It looks cool. It's like a rusty gold color almost. So again, on this side, I'm kind of just creating this depth that I want for these flowers. And I'm going to stop at 5 again on this side and kind of swivel it to show you guys. So what I did on this side, and I'm going to show you going this way as well. What I mean by layering is, see how this one's up a little bit more? What I'm going to do with the second one that's closest to it is put it a little bit lower inside there. So it's like almost like a tucked in feel. So it's almost as if it's growing itself. Like you have like kind of the buds towards the bottom and then something towards the top a little bit more. Sorry about that, guys. There was a little bit of a storage error on my phone message that popped up while I was in the middle of talking. So really nothing important happened. I kind of just added some more flowers. So what I'm going to do right now is just spin you guys to the front side of what I've been working on so you guys can kind of see more what I'm talking about with the depth and stuff like that. So I'm just going to kind of keep adding these in. Again, because I'm not doing that tighter look, I want there to be different heights to these roses. I want there to be a lot of depth. Normally I would add in other flowers to a design like this, but again, because of the times, we are kind of working with what we got here. So, and again, what's good about the Oasis, which I wanted to show you guys, is this stem, I can kind of play around with how high I want it to be. I don't want it to be super low in the container, but if I had to get that all the way to the bottom, it would literally be like right here on the side of the vase. So again, another benefit to using Oasis, especially if you're not super comfortable with cutting yet and stuff like that. Also guys, totally forgot to tell you, I'm using my knife to do this. If you are not comfortable using a knife, please do not use a knife, please use clippers. I find that using a knife is a benefit as well as a kind of problem because you tend to cut yourself quite a bit with a knife, but I find that you get a bit more of an accurate slant on it if you use this, as well as it's just a little bit easier than having clippers where you kind of still have to kind of pick them up, open them, put them together, you know, stuff like that. But I am all for everybody trying to do flowers as long as, and use whatever materials you can to create. So that's my message of sorts. So now I'm getting a little bit more full on this side. This is something I do even in the shop, guys. I constantly am spinning my arrangements to make sure I'm getting like enough of a look on both sides. Like I don't want it to be very flat on one end or very big and poofy on the other. And again, what you have to remember about pieces like this, we are expecting it to kind of change a little bit as time goes on. I want this to be able to continue to grow and, you know, not grow, but like open up and, you know, kind of give me new takes on these roses. I'm really excited for these roses. I'm hoping that they're going to be, again, I hope they're good variety that we can kind of continue to work with and, you know, use for wedding work. I already have in my head kind of design schemes that I think would look really beautiful with these incorporated. So another thing about roses that I mean, obviously roses are one of my favorite flowers. I am hoping for next week's class online thing that I can at least get you guys some ranunculus to look at. There's some really beautiful varieties that are coming out of Holland that I can get from my wholesaler right now, so I'm fingers crossed able to get some of that stuff for you guys to take a look at and just get a little bit of a break from the roses and stuff. But I am hoping too, unfortunately, the people that owned our house prior to us really only had the forsythia planted and they don't really have a ton of other stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out, and again, I'm just flipping that so you guys can see kind of the filling in as we're going. And I'm just gonna fill in a little bit more on this side as well. But anyway, the people before us didn't really think to plant a lot of like cuttable options. I did find peonies at my house, which I'm like super excited about, but they're very, very small. So it's going to take us a while before we are going to be able to do a class with those. But if you have like gorgeous flowers in your backyard, like there's these gorgeous blooming branch varieties out now. There's a lot of really pretty, I could see in certain areas lilac is popping up. I love lilac. I think it's just like one of my favorite things. Because it's just so beautiful and the scent and stuff like that. So I always say, like, if you don't want, if you're not comfortable going to the store does deliver too, but if you're not comfortable going out and getting your own flowers, like do some, you know, natural reconnaissance missions to your backyard. See what you've got growing and kind of use stuff from there. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with this piece. I kind of like that there's a lot of different dimension. Oh, now I'm seeing a spot that I want to fill though. There's a lot of different dimension to it. I like the greenery. I like that it feels a little bit more natural. As you guys can see, I do have a couple more roses left. Because this is kind of a more loose variety of arrangement, I knew I was going to have a little bit extra. I'm going to just pop those into some basic bud vases. And I could snap some pictures of that. If you guys follow me on Instagram at Erin the Flower Stylist, you'll be able to see kind of more about that stuff. But this is pretty much what I was looking for to go with today. And this is a perfect centerpiece for your table. I think it's a really easy thing for you guys to recreate at home, you know, for easy entertaining purposes once we're back to entertaining and stuff like that. Or even just now, just to brighten your space. Hi guys, I wanted to give you guys a quick update. This is about 4 days after we made this arrangement. All I've been doing is adding in water every day to my flowers. And as you can see, we've kind of gotten some really beautiful opening quite naturally. You'll also notice that some of the coloring has toned down a little bit. It went from like really that very salmony color to almost a peachy color, especially this one you'll be able to tell how much more it's opened up. You'll tend to notice with coral colored flowers that as they open up, they kind of tend to become more and more peachy. I will show you guys hopefully soon. We have some cool peonies called sunset peonies. They do an amazing thing where they really go from like a deep hot pink color to almost like a beige color. So hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll be able to work with some of those. But stay tuned for the video soon. I'm going to be recording another one tomorrow, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it. Thanks. Bye.